everyone. Welcome to Canva. Canva is amazing, and so is our presenter. So Colin is a teacher at Ridgeview Junior High, and he is amazing. When I first walk in his room, you feel welcomed. You look at everything in his room, and you're like, "Oh, that's from Canva," and you're just so in love with it, and it's just welcoming, and it makes you feel like you're a part of his classroom, the culture of it, and it's just very inviting. So I'm so excited to bring Colin James to talk to you about how he uses Canva in his classroom, which I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So welcome to the stage, Colin.
Hi, Steph. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Steph's one of my favorite people in our district. I love working with her. I'm really sad that she won't be with our building anymore this upcoming year.
So you're still going to have to invite me in.
I know. I hope I see you still sometimes. But what you've made here with Gold Education is really awesome, and I'm really pumped to be a part of it today. So is my screen currently being shared?
No, mine is. So as soon as you're ready, I will hit add to stream, and then you can start the presentation and let people know a little bit more about your life and Canva.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm good to go.
And you might have to go to your other tab.
Thank you. Oh wow, this is just like Inception right now. This is.
I know.
So I'm good now.
Yep, it looks great on my end.
Okay, awesome. So also shout out to Steph for helping with this title slide. She came up with that little tagline for work, play, and everything in between. Thank you for that. So a little about me. I teach 8th grade ELA. I am 27. Some people say 19 if they're guessing. My students have told me 45 before. So I guess my age is a very polarizing thing. But I am entering my 3rd year. That picture is of my wife and I. This past Tuesday, actually, August 3rd, we celebrated our 2-year anniversary. So that was really fun. And then finally, I truly love this job. And emojis, as you can see. So I made that little joke there. But I really do. Whenever I tell someone that I teach, I, without fail, get, oh, bless your soul, or oh my gosh, like you must be exhausted. And I'm like, it's really not that bad. Like it's actually actively the best job ever. Like, yes, they're 12 and 13 years old for me, my students. So yeah, they need help. They're not fully formed people yet, but they're hilarious. They're insightful. And I just love talking to them and connecting with them. And I truly see myself doing this through and through till retirement. I have no administration aspirations. I want to be in the classroom for the rest of my career. I really do mean that. A relative at every Thanksgiving or Christmas without fail asks me, like, are you going to stick with it? Are you going to stick with teaching? And I'm like, yes. Also, please pass me the mashed potatoes now. So that's a little about me. To get that out of the way, thanks for having me. I'm really stoked to be here today. First, what I want to kind of share with you, this is going to be kind of what initially partially led me to Canva. So I went to Ohio State, got my master's there as well, came out, got a job at Ridgeview right away, which was incredible. I love it there. And that summer, so fresh out of grad school, prepping for my first year of teaching, I decided to sit down, reflect, and think of a mission statement that I want. And I haven't revised this at all. I haven't changed this since that summer. But it is as follows. I hope to make all students feel safe, welcomed, valued, and heard. Through cultivating such an environment, I hope to empower students to step into themselves and own their learning. So the big thing for me with this was I wanted it to be true regardless of the content I was teaching. It had to be deeper than that. So yes, it is really important that they know how to write a coherent sentence and read at an efficient level. But those are kind of vehicles or tools to make this thing happen and establish those relationships and connect to them in a meaningful way that hopefully, helps them learn about themselves and learn some about ELA content in the process, hopefully. So that was my mission statement. And in light of that summer, as I was gearing up for my first year with my own classroom, that led me to Canva, which is what we're going to talk about today. How did it lead me to Canva? Well, if we're looking at my mission statement, 2 words I really want to focus on, and I appreciate Steph affirming this a little bit ago, are safe and welcomed. I really wanted my students to feel safe and welcomed. And obviously that's going to come through a lot of different things, our rapport, my word choice, the list goes on and on, but partially that could come, I decided, through the design of my classroom and materials that I use, including, some assignments. So design was a big, it still is, but especially that first summer gearing up for my first year in this field, design was really big for me because I wanted them to, I didn't want to be a Pinterest teacher. I didn't want to be just grotesquely throwing things on the walls for the sake of it looking cool. I really did try to be mindful of choosing things that would hopefully evoke those types of feelings in the students. So here are some examples of my classroom. This is a bulletin board in the back, a skills map for our kind of 8th grade ELA content and some of the main skills we practice throughout the year. Just to break this down really quickly, that is from Canva. These emblems are from Canva. These blurbs of text are from Canva. And this reminder to keep your Chromebook charged is from Canva. So all of that was done that summer before my first year, and it turned out really well. And I'll get into how I created that and how they went from my computer screen to this wall in my classroom in a little bit. But just to show you some examples there, along with these classroom expectations on this wall. So I wanted some kind of cornerstone rules or ideas to really define my classroom experience for my kids. So I came up with pursue learning, not perfection, be honest, ask questions, value and celebrate everyone, don't forget to smile and laugh. And all of these were created in Canva as well, and I'll show you how here in just one moment. But the first thing I did in Canva, and this is going to be our first kind of live demo and walkthrough, was pick colors. And if you haven't noticed yet, I use 2 very distinct colors that are kind of through lines in content and my classroom to kind of make a more cohesive experience across the board for my students. They're khaki and blue-gray. And what you see below the names of these colors are their codes. So these codes are what you input into Google Slides, into Canva, etc. Really anything where you can make your own custom color for that color to show up and be used in your presentation, like I'm doing today, or in really any material that you want to create. So I wanted to start with the colors, and again, it was all for the sake of my students feeling welcomed and safe. So the blue-gray, I was thinking of like a darker blue. I wanted something kind of masculine, but I also wanted a neutral color, something, warm and welcoming. And I got started here with Canva color palettes. So Canva color palettes, if you just do a quick Google search, I'll actually, Steph, I will send you this link now. And while I do that, I'll check out your guys's comments to see what we have. He is a Canva teacher. Yes, I am. Lovely color palette. Thanks, Patricia. All right, so let's go back to color palettes. So as you can see, there are a ton to choose from. And if you're a little overwhelmed, this search bar is a great place to start, is because it's prompting you to type in a color, a theme, a keyword. So for the sake of education, let's say teacher, right? I search teacher. A bunch of different options. This color palette is teacher's desk. So maybe I liked one of these colors and wanted to use them. So whenever you click on one of these boxes, you'll see that copy come up. You'll click on it. That check mark means the color code has been copied to your clipboard. So now, whenever you go into a material or presentation that you're doing and you want to customize the color, you can just edit, paste, and this color that you copied will be inputted there. And now you have that color. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. But what led me to these two colors, I'll pull up the color combo that I found, was, I don't know how. I think I just searched, I think I started by searching like tan, maybe, and obviously I was like, wow, these, just at first glance, I see a lot of things that I like that are kind of what I was visualizing for my classroom. And it led me to this modern architecture one, and finding these two things that my students, two colors that my students have seen a lot of over these last 2 years. So I copied these. You also see the code right below the color name, so you can also just highlight that and edit, copy, and paste it that way. But I think it's really nice how they have it set up to where you can just copy, click by clicking the square, and it's copied to your clipboard in a really nice, efficient way. So these were the colors I landed on. So I just wanted to get you started there. And I would say, as you're diving into Canva, as we dive into Canva and look at different examples of things, having colors is a good foundation because it's a good, quick way to turn any template that Canva has into your own. And Canva has so many templates and icons and things like that. But really how I've managed to make them what I want for my classroom has always started with the colorway, matching something that, kind of fits me. And over the course of the year, my students see that, these colors do kind of represent me in a way. And it's an English class, so that's all good and fun with symbolism and whatever else. I don't want to get too spiritual, but you get my point. So those are my colors. So now we can jump into examples. So first, we're going to look at those posters that I had on that wall, those classroom expectations, how I started from scratch to how they got on my classroom wall. Then a quick presentation. So Canva also has presentations, just like Google Slides or PowerPoint, but the design features and capabilities of the presentation tool in Canva are just absolutely incredible, in my opinion. So I think that's definitely worth checking out if you find yourself using slides a lot. Then an infographic, and then just something short, some little miscellaneous fun I had on a virtual learning day this past school year. So before I jump in, I'll take a look at the comments. Appreciate the blue-gray. Thank you so much for that affirmation. So now we're going to jump into all of my designs right here. I actually found out about Canva, I should say this, through my wife. So she's a wedding photographer. She had used it for a few things and threw it my way that summer. This was before we were married. Actually, this was right around when we got married. So I became a husband and a teacher the same summer. So a lot of transitions, but one of the advantages was learning about this awesome platform to create cool things for my classroom. So shout out to Mal, my lovely wife, for recommending this site for me. So those posters, I'm going to click on this because this is the template that I initially found that I made my own. So Over here on this left-hand side is your, I mean, there's so many analogies we could use, but I guess we can just say toolbox, or your canvas, if you will, with all your paintbrushes and knickknacks to kind of throw at whatever it is you're making to make it your own in a really cool way. So templates are where I've always started. I very rarely make something from scratch. I guess if you want bonus points, you could go that route, but there's absolutely no shame in templates. They're there for a reason. They're awesome starting points. And even if you see something that you just love on its own that you just want to slightly tweak, that's awesome. You can do that with the hundreds and hundreds of templates that Canva has. So I think for me, up here, and you can see my recent searches on Canva, these are elements, which I'll get into in a sec. But I think I was searching like classroom posters, and see there's already a kind of default search for that, which tells me that they have templates for classroom posters. And there's tons of different ones. And I just kept scrolling and scrolling until I found this one that we have here in front of us. This is exactly as it was when I found it. But the first thing I knew I needed to do before messing with any of the text was inputting my colors. So this red or salmon or whatever it is fine. It's not for me. It's a classroom. It's not Red Lobster. So I didn't want to use this. No offense to whoever would use this. But I clicked on that red, and up here in this corner, we see a box for colors. And this is showing us right here under document colors, the colors currently at play within this material. And it's pretty straightforward. You can see the white, the red, and the blue. Those are the only ones. But for this red up here in this search bar, it's prompting you can try, searching for a color or inputting that color code. So I'm going to go back to this color combo that I landed on in the palettes and click on khaki. I'm going to click the copy box. I'm going to go back to this search bar here with my current material open. I'm going to just Command V, paste. Boom, from my search there, the first one that it has that matches that code is the color I wanted. So click on that box, and boom, we have this color that I want for the background. And then for the blue, it is a nice blue. It's not quite the blue that I want. So I'm going to click on this element of the poster that has that blue. And again, we see the blue color box pop up here.
Colin, you're doing great, but can I show you a trick that will save you a ton of time?
Yes.
Okay, go back to Canva and grab your blue color.
Oh, this is great. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And I just found out about this. And you taught me about searching teacher and those colors pop up. Like, I've never searched. I just scroll and scroll. But no, if I'm if I need something for August, back to school or something like that, and there's those colors that I need. So thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. So go to the Canva, get your blue color, that
oh, the blue-gray. Okay.
Yeah. Copy that.
Okay.
Go back to Canva.
Yes.
See where it says add your brand kit?
No. Oh. Okay.
You'll never have to go back and grab those colors.
Oh.
So you can add a logo if you had like a color logo, and then see where it says brand colors. You can add that plus sign, and you can add your brand colors here, because I just added the gold colors to mine, and they're pop up. So I don't have to keep going and getting that hex code because it's super annoying. So this has saved me a lot of time. So go ahead and add your other color.
Wow.
And then I can show you where it goes. And then you can continue your awesome tutorial because this is great.
Okay. Wow.
And then go back. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you have to save. I don't think so. And then you might have to refresh.
Okay. Refresh. We shall.
And then click on the colors again, like they're there.
What? That's
yeah.
awesome.
Okay, continue.
Thank you so much. That was well worth the interruption. Thank you so much. So now, yeah, that's great. Now that I've added that my own palette, thanks to Steph, I can just enter that color here. And then editing text is very simple. It's what you would expect, really, on any platform. I don't need my students to get information. I mean, they could. They're kind of in that, 8th graders are in that period of time where they're going to high school next year, but a few years ago they had like their own cubbies and lunch lines. So it's a weird time, but for the sake of my class, they don't need to get to formation. And I didn't want any of these subtexts down here. So I think at the time I clicked on this. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. And I deleted that extra text, and then we don't need this anymore. And so as you can see, there's a lot of clicking and deleting and dragging around. Now I'm going to use these lovely line markers to center this. You'll notice that again, if you're familiar with anything like Google Slides, this is going to feel very similar to that. So once that's centered, I think one of mine was pursue learning, not perfection. It might look like that. And then obviously we need to change the text color as well. So you would just go up here to text color, change that. And so I did this. I just started duplicating these pages because I knew I had multiple classroom expectations, which is up here. So I just duplicated that. And now the design part's taken care of. So I just need to change the text for, I don't know, let's say 5 or 6 of these posters that I wanted. So I just went through and did that for the rest of them. So let's just say I got to the end of the creating process, cleaned it up nice. And what's very clear in the top right-hand corner is that you can print these posters. Now, obviously, you could download them and print them yourself, but Canva is really nice, and I would say they're affordable with offering you these quality posters delivered to your doorstep. And here, when you're selecting a size, you can kind of see, you can get a glimpse at the poster's ratio, you know, in relation to other things in a room, which is really nice. So I just went through here. I think I went with the medium size at the time, and it's saying select which pages you want. I wanted all of them, so I kept all of them checked. I wanted 1 copy. Okay, maybe they're not as affordable as I thought. I think, okay, so I will justify this with my spunk as a new first-year teacher and really wanting this to look the best that it could. If you don't think this is affordable, I totally understand. I honestly do think it was cheaper at the time. But for 6 classroom posters, $45, I would say is still cheaper than like some education store that you could go to. So it is still cheap in some ways. Then you would just continue with your payment and everything like that. What you could also do, though, if you were wanting to keep a digital version of this, if you see these 3 dots up here, you could go here. You could click download, and then there's plenty of different file types. I think I've always done a PDF print of them, like if I wanted to post them to Google Classroom or something like that. And then I would just click download, and I would have these examples in digital format in a PDF with the ability to share them wherever I need to with my students. So those are posters. Now presentation, and presentation will be pretty fast. I haven't used presentations a ton. I just started to the latter half of this past school year. But I think there's just so much to explore. That's why I'm saying I haven't used it a ton, because there's so much you can do with these presentations. But before I do, I will look at the comments. You can always count on some affirmation from Steph, which is why I'm going to miss her. Okay, we're good to go. So presentations, we're going back to all of my designs, and we're going to click on common writing mistakes. So this is a template that I found and then used for the start of, I believe, our argumentative essay unit. I just wanted to review some technical skill aspects of writing with my kids for a mini lesson to open up class. So that's what you see here. And you're not going to download this. Canva, like within the site itself. So within this presentation, you would just click present here, and it's going to blow up to full screen, and boom, you're presenting using these slides. So that's really nice. You don't need to download or upload or convert to Google Slides or whatever else. This is its own isolated presentation software, which is really cool. But for this, just like last time, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us home. So let's say I want to create a new design. You're going to see all of these suggestions here, and they go on and on and on. I mean, if you have a teacher Instagram and you want to make a teacher Instagram story, you can do that. So the difference between each of these things are going to be, one, the templates that show up once you open the new project, and two, the aspect ratio of the material itself. So obviously, if you were wanting to make an Instagram story for your teacher Instagram, the aspect ratio is going to be that of, Instagram stories on a phone, right? I don't have a teacher Instagram, so we won't be using that today. But the list of possible projects and just starting points is endless, as you can see. A really cool one that I have used in the past that I would check out is the Google Classroom header. So obviously that's going to come in the aspect ratio needed for it to fit your classroom header. And you can see here the templates popping up are ones for classroom header, which is really cool. So that's just a quick overview of creating a new project with the format that suits it. So for presentation, let's just click on presentation. So we're going to get a blank screen with new slides, and we have all of these templates over here: company presentations, marketing, and there's education presentations, which is really cool. And as you can see, there's recently used ones from my class. I believe the one that I used for the common writing mistakes was this. So let's say I'm wanting to make a mini lesson presentation on common writing mistakes. I've searched through the templates. I think I searched English class. And yeah, all of these come up: English class, English lesson, like a ton of really cool, unique, creative presentation templates to use for your subject, right? For your content, which is really cool. So it might have been this one. If not, that's totally okay. But now you can go through, and it has all sorts of different pages for presentation. And typically what I do is I apply all 20 pages, and then I go through and let's say I don't really need this. I can just click on the three dots, delete, and so forth, and just cull through each of these and be left with the ones that I really want. So I did the same thing that I showed you with the posters by starting out with the color scheme. I went a little different route. I didn't stick with my tried and true colors here. I went for a darker brown, which was fine. But this element here, this element was not in the initial slide. So I think initially it just looked like this, but I wanted to add that element here just to kind of make it my own. And I wanted an element relevant to what the presentation was on. So elements are right below templates. And this applies across any type of project or material that you're wanting to create in Canva. So if we go down to elements, there's a ton, and you can see I have a lot of recently used ones. But there are graphics, there's lines and shapes, there's charts, there's frames. But what you're gonna, you can go the route of just browsing through these, but the really cool ones are gonna come through searching. So I've just searched typewriter, and now I'm gonna get all of these pictures or elements with transparent backgrounds that I can use in my presentation. Now, a lot of the really cool ones are only available with Canva Pro, but there is a teacher discount and membership that I believe you can get. Steph, you might know that better than me. I pay for it, but I just use it.
It's free for educators.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
So you need to sign up.
Yeah.
Here, I just put it in the chat. And so make sure you sign up for that. You just have to prove that you're an educator, and that's it.
Well, I have to do that then. I have to, that's like,
you've been paying for it. Maybe they can get you a refund.
No, the amount of Chipotle that could have been.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Thank you so much. Are there any other? Okay. No comments. All right. So I just went through typewriter. And again, a lot of the cool ones come with Canva Pro, which you can get for free if you're a teacher. And here is the one that I use. So I just selected it. I dragged it out. And typically they'll come in whatever original color they are. And you just have to open up the color again once you've selected the element and do the same thing here. So I just made it the same brown as the rest of my presentation and aligned it so. And I did the same thing throughout. So I wanted to show my students bad examples of like announcing your evidence or your points and how you should write it. So the first two examples, they were bad examples. I knew I wanted some sort of thumbs down element. So I just very simply searched thumbs down under elements. There's a lot of different styles out there. Mine's very minimalistic. But if you wanted, you could add this crazy looking TikTok one that also has like animation, which is awesome. So if you wanted to use that instead of something like my style, you could do that. That looks sweet. I might use that in the future. That's awesome. And what's really cool, if you find an element that you really like, you'll see under the one that you just used, these magic recommendations. So these are a bunch of other ones from the same creator or one similar to that creator's element that I just chose. So if I want to go back to, I mean, these look more like for a YouTube channel, which, I mean, if there's anything eighth graders or any student loves these days, it's YouTube. So, or TikTok or whatever else. So these could be kind of a cool buy-in as far as, you know, using an element to draw them in. But for now, I'll just keep that. To go back to your original search for magic recommendations, you would just click on this X. And I just kept scrolling until I found this thumbs down that I liked. And then I did a similar search for, you know, like an okay or a thumbs up. So yeah, you can see these different elements at play that I've chosen here. But the bulk of this, like these, this 3 table layout, the title here in the left corner with a different color, that's all the template. I just changed the colorway and the text and added these elements to fit my needs for this presentation. And And yeah, it was a mini lesson, so it wasn't long at all. And it all started with a template. I would say in total, since I had all of my concepts and ideas gathered already, this probably took me a half hour to create during planning time, which really isn't long at all in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, when I was ready that morning, first period, they're coming in, they're filling out their bell ringer, and then we're jumping into this presentation. So I would just, from my Canva homepage, open this up, click present, and then I'll just do presenter view. That way, not everything pops up at once. Oh, did it go away? I'll just do, let's see here. Hopefully this doesn't go away this time. Enter full screen mode. Okay. What's awesome too about presenting with Canva is the like clicker marker that follows along. I just find it really satisfying to use when I'm teaching. It really draws the eye and helps your students focus on the part of the slide that you're discussing during your lesson. So super simple, easy presentation format that takes a quick second to open up and get teaching. So those are presentations. Steph, have you noticed anything else before I continue, or things you want to share?
I've never presented in Canva. Usually what I do is I download them as a PNG and then upload them to Google Slides because I love Google Slides. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize the mouse changed. So that is a really nice feature.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might need to just use it and
Yeah.
just, it's okay, Google Slides. I don't hate you.
Yeah, exactly. Also, a quick shout out. We were in San Diego recently, and there was a place called James Coffee. And my students know how much I love coffee, and it's called James Coffee, and their logo is an owl. And I was like, yes, I want this mug and full ownership of your coffee shop, because this is essentially my coffee shop if I ever had the resources to make one. I just had to shout them out. Okay. So we kind of went through the bigger designs, two more, and there's going to be two more that I go through, and they're kind of just going to be me playing around more with what I've already shown you guys and kind of introduced to you. So an infographic and miscellaneous fun that I had one day with Canva. So the infographic, I made this last summer to start the school year as part of my classroom syllabus, which I decided to do in the form of Google Slides, thanks to kind of the teamwork of Steph and Catlin Tucker and inspiration from them. So I linked to this infographic in my syllabus, and it's going to be there this year as well. I'll zoom in some so we can see, but this started as the other projects I've shown you started. So I just started here on my homepage. I click create a design, and I think I searched infographic, and boom, right away, there we go. So I opened up a new infographic project, and that brought me to obviously an empty template, but with all of these infographics. And again, Canva is so teacher friendly. Canva is meant for, tons of people, but it's really meant for teachers in a lot of ways. And they really cater to teachers with the resources that they have. So just like with education presentations, there's education infographics. And I'm sure the one that I found was pulled from this list of templates. So what you're seeing here, the only things I've changed from the initial template were the color scheme, right? So I went in, I clicked the color box. Now I have that fancy palette, thanks to Steph, to change my colors. I edited the text. And then the emblems I did change. I think the emblems were just these circles. So I added these emblems to just fit the need of whatever text was below them. So for curiosity and skepticism, I probably just went to elements and searched light bulb. And there were a ton of examples, and I'm sure I eventually found the guy with the light bulb going off inside, and even this element. So if you click on an element that's multicolored, it wasn't these colors at first. So I actually looked up here at this color palette, and you can see where each of these colors is applied to the elements. So that big light bulb was a different color. I actually decided to make it a color similar to what you're seeing up here to just be more cohesive, and so on. So from top to bottom, the inspiration for this infographic was we get the question every day, why do we have to know this? And I wanted from the get-go to show my students, this is what you're going to hopefully walk away from my class knowing that you can then apply to real life. So this is kind of my attempt at making it relevant for them. So life skills we will practice every day: curiosity and skepticism, problem solving, and self-advocacy. And then how will we practice those in English 8? So I think these weren't pencils initially. It was this row of this number of elements, but they weren't pencils. So I just went in and changed each one to this, which was super simple, and changed the text, changed the colorway for that. So we're going to learn those skills through practicing and learning reading and writing skills. So again, just a quick change to the elements through a super quick search, probably for book, and look at all of those examples of different book elements. Wow, this one's like flying. Like, look at that. That's sweet. What the heck? I want to use this, but not today, not for this. So we're going to learn these life skills through reading and writing skills. And these are kind of the core skills that we're going to be addressing throughout the year in the 8th grade English curriculum. And here I actually stopped because I was like, I also want a tangible paper form of this for my students to be able to see in the classroom. So that actually takes us back here. So if you notice, these are the same emblems as the ones I used in this infographic. So I actually decided to open up a new project from scratch, and I found those same emblems and created these same ideas, or put the same text below them, just on a bigger, fuller page, and just kind of transferred these from this infographic. I changed the colorway, as you can see. But that's because I knew my ultimate goal was to laminate them, print them out, cut them, and pin them up on this bulletin board. So this is a cool example of, ways that you can create something digitally, but also take that and make it something tangible for your actual classroom space. And then just adding more elements here at the bottom, as far as, the topics that we're going to be learning those skills through. So it's just something kind of neat to give them a quick overview of what we're learning and why we're learning it, which is really cool. So that was an infographic that I'm really proud of, and I'm really proud of how these turned out in my actual classroom. And that Keep Your Chromebook Charged poster also took me, I think, 10 minutes to make. It was a template that I tweaked just a little bit. And I made the colors for this actually our school colors, and just found a few quick elements that represented, charging your Chromebook, and printed that out. Super simple, hung it up there. And it went from my computer to my wall in like an hour. So design and kind of executing it and printing it is really efficient and really simple in Canva. So I would highly recommend that you guys mess around with that the best that you can. And then one more example just to show you design in Canva. We were having a virtual learning day, and I just wanted to post something to our Google Classroom stream, just kind of announcing to students, what they're expected to do. It was a virtual learning day for a snow day, I believe. So this was a rare one where I just started from scratch. So I probably opened up some random template. It was white. I changed the background really. I made this the morning of. Like, we found out about this snow day the morning of, and I wanted to throw something together really fast. So, like, it's half just kind of for more my fun than theirs, but half for, real information that they need. But I just added some quick text. So if you want to add your own text, and if you're making something from scratch, you would just go down to text. So there's elements, uploads, which this would be like, well, this is a great example. I needed a copy of The Giver, the book cover. So I Google image searched that. I uploaded it so I would have it here, and then I dragged it. But then to add the text, there's all these different formats. So for Virtual Learning Day Essentials, I clicked Add a Heading, and that appears in the middle, and I just messed with the fonts and sizing like so to get, I just changed the background as well. That's not good. To get what you see at the top. And then really I was just thinking of silly things that I remember enjoying on snow days. So my favorite pair of sweatpants, hot chocolate, cozy socks, etc. So I just did a quick element search for these items and dragged them over. And then the Google Classroom, one thing Canva does have, which is awesome, they have really cool designed elements for education digital tools that you use every day. So like if I were to search Gmail, like this is awesome. Like this looks great. And as you can see here under Magic Recommendations, they have one for Google Drive. They have one for Google Classroom. So a ton of cool emblems for digital tools that we use every day in our classroom. Google Docs, like these look sweet, and they're just pre-made and ready to be used. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna contain myself. I'm just gonna go with the standard Google Classroom logo to let them know. And then I made an agenda page from scratch using those things I've showed you guys. And then just for fun, my wife and I the night before did a polar bear drawing contest. This was this killed in the classroom. This was a crowd favorite to show them. Just going from mine to my wife's, they say it looks like, I don't even know, like someone said it looks like a big toe. Someone said it looks like Baymax from Big Hero 6, if you guys have kids and have seen that. So I just threw this together to have some fun and challenge them to draw their own polar bear for an extra point, for 1 point of extra credit. But I made this the morning of, so before 7 a.m., after finding out that we were going to be home for the day, really quickly, once you figure out how to use these different parts here in the toolbox, your templates, your elements, and text, I didn't go into styles or logos today, but really the bread and butter of designing anything in Canva are going to be templates, elements, and text. So knowing how to navigate these pretty well, I threw this together really quickly, had it up in Google Classroom by 7 a.m. for my students to wake up and see that day. So there's just a ton of different things you can do in Canva. It's super versatile. You can create things to fit your style, your needs for the classroom, whatever they may be. And that's just, if you want more information or have more questions about how I did something that I showed today, or about those things I didn't explore, I would love to hear from you. So my email is on screen right now, as well as my Twitter handle. Even if you don't have questions, you should follow me on Twitter. But that's Canva in a nutshell and how I use it for my classroom. So I hope it was helpful. And I just want to thank Steph again for having me. I'm sure you'll jump back in here now. Steph.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so wonderful. And I just loved seeing how you use Canva in the classroom. I love the polar bear activity. I have not seen that one.
Yeah.
You're secretly hiding that one. But that one's so much fun. Like you and your kids or your family could draw something and then challenge the kids. So I really do love that. Make sure you do follow Colin and send him a message if you have questions or need ideas. He's a really great person to just brainstorm with as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. And thank you, Colin, for taking this time to share how you're using Canva in the classroom. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Thanks so much.